Young little Connor Matthews,
Yep.
you probably were never thinking in a million years I'm gonna fight.
I've been doing martial arts since I was like 5 years old, to be honest.
Okay.
So my brother was into it first, then I got into it.
That feeling of the crowd, because it was like matches like
Insane.
point last 10 seconds.
Yeah, he did the point down.
He did
Yeah.
the point down,
yeah.
and then they were just trading bombs. 1 second left, and just
Winning your first MMA fight is definitely the highest of highs.
backtrack. What is up, guys? My name's Thiago. This is Alex. This is the Too Legit Podcast, and we are honored to have a good guy, local guy. All right? We got UFC fighter and veteran as well. Connor the Controller Matthews. All right, Connor, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Oh man, thank you guys for coming down here and running the podcast down here in Mom's basement.
Dude, this basement, I know you guys can probably see some of it. There's a motherfucking cage in this basement. This basement is like a
Not the
man.
Jeffrey Dahmer kind of.
No.
Never that. Never that.
Never that. We don't fuck with that shit. But
We feel very safe down here.
I don't feel like I'm gonna get cut up into a million pieces. But no, this basement's like what I feel like every man. If you just need like a couple TVs, maybe.
Yeah.
But this is like if you want to fight, this is a fight like basement. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This is Fight Club.
I love it, man. I didn't expect it to really come out like this, to be honest. I'd never, I always said that to myself. Like, I want to have a gym in my basement, you know what I mean? But like, it came out a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool because everything in here, I got like either given to me or got really cheap. Like these black mats that are on right here, I got during the pandemic. We got that stem check during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
All the gyms closed.
You put it to good use.
I was like, I need some mats right now, so I got these mats.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
We finally got a sponsorship, and it's our boys over at 30 Construction. These guys are hands down the best in the business when it comes to creating something amazing and beautiful. They actually did my house, and it went from being a piece of to a gorgeous thing on the block. You know what I mean? They do it all. Roofing, siding, doors, windows, bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels. Hey, if your wife wants a she shed, guess what? You call these guys, okay? So call them right now. We're going to put their link on here, and we're going to put the link in the description below. But listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if it ain't 30, it ain't 30. Now, enjoy the episode, guys.
And then all the blue mats, my sensei growing up, he got new mats in his gym. So he's like, hey, do you want these mats? They fit perfect with my mats. The wall mats over there came from one of my other friends. The cage was even one of my friends who was coming here. He was like, hey, because, before I made it to the UFC or before I had my job, I was like, struggling to make money just in general.
Yeah,
Just basically, I was just making enough just to be able to train every single day. And he's like, and this opportunity for this cage came up from this gym called Connor's MMA, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, dude, it's like $500. You just got to come here and grab it. And my buddy's like, dude, I got you. And he bought it for me. He's got my friend Mike Smith. So I was like, it's pretty awesome that it's all came together. And
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot of stuff that's been given to me, or I've just acquired it over the years, and now we got I just trained for my UFC fight yesterday in here. I get my last rounds in my cage in my house to get ready for my UFC fight. So it's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's circle back, right, to upbringing. So
Yep.
you obviously probably, when you were a young age, a young little Connor Matthews, you probably were never thinking in a million years, I'm going to fight. I'm not going to fight. So how did it all, was it something where, MMA was, brought in at a later stage in your life, or was it something that was kind of brought in?
I'm a lifetime martial artist, so
Okay.
I've been training martial arts. I grew up in Freetown, Sonnet is where I grew up, and I've been doing martial arts since I was 5 years old, to be honest.
okay.
So my brother was into it first, then I got into it, and off and on through high school. But my main sport, my whole identity was hockey.
Oh, you're a big hockey guy.
Yeah, I was a big hockey
How do you feel
guy.
about the Bruins nowadays?
I love the Bruins. You know what I mean? We're having a rough year this year. Last year was pretty cool. I actually got to hang out with a couple guys from the Bruins last year, which was really
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So this guy Jacob Lacko, he came and practiced.
Oh,
with
no
us,
shit.
And we ended up hanging out. I went to a game. He got in a fist fight and he got in a fight on the ice. In the first game, I went to go watch him, which was pretty cool. So me and him still connect.
That's what's up. Hell
But
yeah.
that was my main thing. I wanted to be a hockey player in my senior year of high school. It was a playoff game down in Bourne. I went to go lay a big hit out. tripped over a kid, blew out my shoulder, and that was it, man. So I started. So like my whole dreams and aspiration of playing D1 hockey kind of went out the window because I was hurt for a year.
Yeah.
And that's when I got back into the gym. So anytime in my life where I ever struggled with like anything mentally, like, or if like fighting with my brother, my mom would bring me to the martial arts gym, and that's kind of like, you know, I get my frustration out, go kick the bag, hit the bag, or
That's
whatever.
a smart mom.
Yeah,
Smart mom.
exactly.
She's trying to.
Broke up with my girlfriend. I was punching holes in the wall.
Hey.
You know what I mean? I'd go to the, she'd be like, gotta go to the gym. So that's what I did. I went to the gym because I was like, you know, really frustrated with my life. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do. And then my sensei was like, hey, let's put you in there for an MMA fight. And so turned 18 and took my first MMA fight when I was 18, and scared as shit. The scariest thing I've ever did. And but I won my first fight, and after that it was like I was addicted.
Was it like a good feeling?
It was crazy. The highest of highs. Like any drug, anything, like winning your first MMA fight is definitely the highest of highs.
Hell yeah.
So
I don't have that feeling yet, but I will eventually. I will eventually, but maybe not an MMA fight, but maybe one day, I don't know. But we were talking briefly about this, and before we get like really in depth with the MMA, you used to do construction, which you know our podcast is kind of based off construction.
Yeah.
So you fit the mold so perfect, you know. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I wish I mean we're kind of the same age, but I kind of wish I got into fighting like when I was like a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I got into football when I was younger. So
great sport too.
Football and hockey, but then I blew my knee out, and I'm like, no, can't do this shit anymore.
Yeah.
So now I do podcasting. So walk us through, like, you did solar panels, right?
Yep.
So did solar panels kind of like, was like, okay, you know, is this a job just to help pay the bills, or was it something like you saw lifelong or something like that?
So what happened was that obviously my initial goal was to go to college, play hockey. My dad's a college professor, so you know, education's kind of big in our family. And my brother went to college, and then so when I started, I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to fight. It's basically what I was telling my dad. My dad's like, well, if you ain't gonna go to school, you got to get a job. So that's when I started reaching out to my friends, and actually, I was Sammy Smith, was my mutual friend of ours. I started working for her dad, and we started working together and installing solar panels, and that's where we did that for like a year and a half, 2 years after I graduated high school.
Yep.
And it was a grind. I learned a lot, and I wasn't like a construction kid growing up. Like it was like my first time, just like I was like playing sports my whole life. Never when I walked on a job site at all.
Yeah.
And but I thought I learned a lot doing that. You know what I mean? Like just the work ethic, mentality.
Yeah.
And I was a young guy in the job site, so I was carrying everything up and down. That was like training for me. You know what I mean? Carrying solar panels, walking up and down the ladders all day.
Oh man.
And I learned, I had to do that, and then get back home at like 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and then go to the gym, and then train for 3 hours. By the time you get home, eat dinner, it's 10 o'clock at night, go to bed, wake up, and do it again.
Yeah.
So, which was, it was good. It was, I learned a lot about myself, and I don't think I could do that at this age right now. No. But when you're a kid, you don't need as much sleep. You can grind it out and get it done. And so definitely, it was good. It gave me a lot of perspective. And but I ended up joining the military because I was like, actually, it's funny. I was on the job site one summer, and it was like really, really hot day. And like when you're on the roofs and like you just touch the shingle, and it's just burning.
Like,
I'm like, this sucks. And my cousin calls me from Horseneck Beach. He's just like, hey, we just got a job opening for a lifeguard. He's like, you interested? And I was like, yep. So I quit my solar panel job, kind of screwed over Rick for the summer, was a lifeguard for one summer, and then after that I joined the military.
Oh, okay. So you're Air Force? Right?
So I was in Air Force. I was in Special Operations. I was a combat controller.
Whoa.
So a lot of people don't know what a combat controller is. A combat controller, our job is to attach to Special Forces teams or Navy SEALs or any kind of Special Operations teams, and we're air traffic control certified. So think like in an airport, guys talking to airplanes, landing airplanes. We can set up airfields and airstrips anywhere. Also, we can call in airstrikes. If we are attached to a team, a lot of time that's our main job is like to call in the airstrike. So like they talk to the AC-130 gunship if you guys play Call of Duty or anything like that.
You do? Have you ever played Call of Duty?
Well, the minute he said it, that's where my brain went.
So that's usually how I relate to people is through Call of Duty. But and then basically like our job on the team is being like the radio guy. We're like experts in our radios and stuff, and we're communication experts. And there's a lot. It's a very thinking type of job. You know what I mean? You have to be on your toes, and you have to be in every step of the mission, just making sure somebody gets shot, somebody gets hurt. You're the guy calling in the medevac to get them out there. Calling in airstrikes is dangerous. Obviously, you're dropping bombs, so like you have to track where all your guys are on the battlefield, calling the grids, and so it's a tough job. I only did it for 6 years. I had one deployment. So deployed to Afghanistan. And it was cool. It was right when Trump took office. ROEs were rules of engagement were a little bit different than when Obama was in. So they were like, "Hey, you guys," they took the handcuffs off and they're like, "Go do stuff." And so I got out there to go do some stuff, and it was pretty cool. Nice. What I mean, when you go through all the training, which was like. It's like, I think combat control training is kind of like, Special Forces or Navy SEAL training where it's like a 95% attrition rate. So, like, we started with like 120 people, and only like 5 of us or whatever it was made it.
So how big was your class? Like 120?
So my class, it's kind of, so it's different. So, like, from my initial class, all right, I would say there's like 60 of us. I would say people that made it all the way through were like 4 of us, honestly. But like what they do is they take classes, and then from that forward they'll join you up with another like 20. You know what I mean? So you're in and out. So it's really hard to figure out how many people. But not a lot of people made it through.
That's tough.
And it was tough. There's a lot of different portions. We had to do Halo, which is high altitude, eye opener, like skydiving. You do that job. That is actually a fun part. Dive school. That was a hard part of our journey.
Dive.
Like scuba diving.
Oh God.
So like the training for that is like super hard. Like the military will take anything that's like fun on the outside to make it not fun.
They're like, how can we ruin this for everyone?
How do you make this miserable? And so dive school is like they're like drowning you and all that kind of stuff. And the land navigation, the tactics for me the hardest portion was actually the academics of it, because controller is a very thinking kind of job. So it was like the air traffic control part. I had no idea what an air traffic controller was when I joined. I was like, oh, these guys do cool stuff. I want to do that. And I got there and I was like, what is this? Like, as the guys are speaking, it's like speaking a whole nother, he's speaking like a phonetic language. Like, don't know how to talk to planes, and which is like, it has its own language in itself. So, and I can barely speak English, so, so it's kind of hard.
Who the fuck hired this guy? No, that's pretty cool. Oh man, that seems like it's like definitely like stress, man. Because there's a lot. It's like chess, like a lot of pieces that you got to like control. You know what I mean?
Super stressful. I think, but that's what made me be a better fighter. You know what I mean? It was kind of weird. Is like, the whole like going outside a fight. If I would have stayed here and I just became a fighter, right, and I didn't go into the military and do all the other stuff I did, I don't think I would have been nearly the fighter that I am if I didn't go through all that stress inoculation, sleep deprivation, all the different things that I did as a combat controller that transferred into me being a fighter in some sort, what I mean? Even just the discipline and the people that I got surrounded around. Like, I got surrounded by, like I said, there's only a 20%, whatever it is, 5% of people actually make it through the entire job, right? So, like, those people that you get surrounded around are, like, top level guys, right? Really type A, really good top level guys. And, like, they kind of, like, iron sharpens iron kind of thing. Like, being surrounded by those guys made me a better person. And I'm still connected to that community. And I feel like that's helped me with my mentality and created who I am to help me, become the person I needed to be to make it to the UFC.
So doing all these like different things, like solar panel, you played hockey, you were a lifeguard for one summer, then you joined the military.
Probably my best job. So if I could go back to any job, that's the job I'd go.
Lifeguard?
Lifeguard was great.
What was like the day-to-day kind of?
So lifeguard was the best job. So they had 9 o'clock shift, and then you had a 10 o'clock shift. So if you got the 9 o'clock shift, you had to get there at 9 o'clock, you work out in the morning from 9 to 10, then you sit on the stand from 10 to like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. back out. You have a lunch, an hour lunch break. I mean, you're just sitting on the beach all day. You work out in the morning, you sit on the beach all day, and when it's cloudy out, there's nobody at the beach, you just go surfing. It was great. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
I honestly thought there was probably more to it, but
the workouts were pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
And I think
Was
that's
it like
one of the things that helped me out because I was like, because my job has a lot of swimming involved. Right?
Yeah.
So like that was like a perfect job, like not even by accident, by chance. You know, those things like line up. That job got me to be. I'm an okay swimmer because I was surfed and stuff my whole life, but I'm not like a swim team kid. But I worked at that beach. It was all like D1 swimmers.
Yeah.
So like it was like the perfect, and I had to work out every single day. So it was like the perfect job to get me ready to go into special operations and do all that kind of stuff.
So, oh man, I was gonna say something. But, was the workouts kind of like? You ever seen that movie Baywatch with The Rock?
Yeah,
Was it ever like that?
Kind of, because a lot of times you're just like doing like sprint. We'll do like push-ups, cows and stuff, and like sprint from stand to stand, and then you do like push-up circuits. It was a lot of workouts. Then you have to like swim the length of the beach. There used to be this guy that he's from Westport, Mass. Paul Bedard, his name is. Okay. He used to have a show on the Discovery Channel, Wild Boys, and he used to like catch alligators. But this guy was like a crazy guy. He's a psychopath, and he did like Ironmans or double Ironmans and stuff. So he would like lead us on workouts, and like if say you were like late for work or something like that, he'd like bring you out in the sand dunes and just like run you through the sand dunes. The workouts there were actually pretty tough. It was good stuff though.
Would you rather have those workouts or the
special operations workouts were way where it was that's awesome.
not even it
was grueling, and it was 2 years of just getting
nonstop, right?
Just nonstop. Yeah.
So where was the?
I love that stuff. So
where was the training? Is that
for the military?
Yeah, for the special. Because I know that in Marines is it South Carolina or something like that?
I think they have like Coronado. There's all different spots.
Yeah.
Like, for us, the first initial part of our training when we go through a basic training and then selection was down in Lackland Air Force Base down in Texas.
Okay.
Then you pass it through Lackland, and then you have to go to survival school, which is up in McCord, Washington, which is not as bad. It's much more. You have to go to Airborne, which is learn how to jump. You do that in Fort Benning in Georgia with the Army. Then you got to go to Air Traffic Control School, Mississippi for that. That was like a couple month school where that school is actually really hard. They're like in the mornings, they're just like kicking your dick in every single day, smoking you for like 2 hours in the morning, and then you got to go to like regular academic air traffic control school, which is like even if you wasn't doing all the workout portions of it, it's a hard school for regular people. So like that was pretty hard. And then you got to go to combat control school, which is Fort Benning, North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, and that's a really hard school. That's that's when they do like tactics, stress inoculation, sleep deprivation. You're out in the field, you're learning your basic tactics. After you finish that, you go down to Florida, and that's when you get to do kind of like the fun stuff where they really make you into what we call like an operator.
Gotcha.
Like you're doing Halo, you're doing dive school, you're doing your small unit tactics, CQB, clearing houses, all that kind of like cool guy stuff. Which is still hard. You're still working out hard, still training hard, but it's like, you're becoming an operator, so it's kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's good stuff.
So like would you say like the mental preparation is a lot more harder than the physical preparation?
Yeah, everything.
100%, right?
Yeah, mental's everything.
Yeah.
Across the board, really. That's what I just kind of discovered. Like mentality is the number one thing. You can have all the skill in the world, even as a fighter, right? You can be a fighter as like flashy good kicks or whatever, but if you don't have the mental and the grit to be a good fighter and just can stand there, that's like the most important thing. I always say like being a fighter it has like three different things. You have your martial arts ability, all right, and that's like your skill, your technique.
Yep.
You have your athletic, which is who you are, like how your body build, your athletic build, you know what I mean, like how you're made, and then the last thing is like your grit, your fighter, and then you need like basically all three of those things to be a UFC fighter, be a good fighter.
Yep.
You can have like a couple of those, and you can compete, but to be a real good fighter, you got to have all three.
No doubt, man. It's all mental.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to our boy Sean Schubert.
I love Sean Schubert. He's the man.
Sean Schubert.
The other day.
That's why I saw the photo. Photo's right here. But he's really big onto like the mental aspect of the game, because I feel like it's definitely what's the word I'm looking for? Like swept under the rug. Nobody really thinks about it. Everyone thinks like, from the outside where you're not a fighter, it's all like, oh, you just have to hit the hardest or you just have to land. I feel like it's not that.
Yeah, it's not.
Right? No.
Nah. Performance, man. Just getting there. Like, I know a lot of really good guys in the gym who are just like stud fighters, like in the gym. But you just put them in the stage, you put them in the lights and on the stage, and they can't perform.
Really?
So like that's a big part of fighting as well, because it's different than other sports. Like I played every other sport in the world, right? But like in a big hockey game, it's like you have a team you can rely on. Like it's like, you know what I mean? There's always there's always a scapegoat. You can blame it on something. In a cage, in a fight, it's just you, and you're also fighting for your life. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, you know, you try not to get knocked out. So it's like, so I think that's a big, and I feel like for me coming back from the military, when I first had my first couple amateur fights, when I got back from Afghanistan, I started fighting again. Yep. It was very easy for me because I was from all the military training I had for all the couple of years and everything. I'd get back to the cage. I'm like, this is nothing. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I get knocked out. Big deal. Blah blah blah. But then as like I started climbing the ranks, and now I'm fighting for like the UFC. Like a win and a loss changes my life. Yep. So especially for my last 5 fights. You know what I mean? I fought Contender series twice. Yep. I fought. Dana White's looking for a fight, my UFC fight, and then I guess my next one too is another big UFC fight. So it's like, the stakes are a lot harder, and it's a lot more stress outside of everything else to get you ready.
Hell yeah!
What does the training look like for like the mental aspect of the game?
I mean, it really comes down to training in general, right? It's like how much effort you're putting into your day to day, how disciplined you are. Are you sleeping right? Are you making all the workouts you say you're going to make out, following your schedule that you want to follow? Are you hitting your strength and conditioning workout? So it's just basically, to me, it's like the only way to set up your mental to be ready is physically do it. And sometimes like in the gym, right, is picking out going with the harder guys, not just taking the easy guys. There's a lot of ways, and you can be like, oh yeah, I got an hour worth of training today, but did you get the hour worth of training with the guy that's the best guy in the room, or did you get the hour training with the guy who you could beat? So it's like it's a lot of that. It's a lot of just every day in and day out choosing the right things, doing the right things, and then but like this time I'm actually working with the UFC. And they have a sports psychologist, so that was kind of been cool for me. Is that they talk to a sports psychologist and like kind of manage those nerves and like just there's all different techniques you can use to really kind of like help you out, manage everything and to keep yourself in the mind. Because if you start getting anxiety and thinking about the fight too much, you start thinking about it's about basically being in the moment, right? Not being at the fight yet. The fight will come. But the only place I can be right now to be my best me is be right here, right now, and do what I can do at this moment to prepare me to be ready for the fight.
So you never try not to look forward as much.
Too much.
Just live in the moment now.
You know it's there. You know what I mean? It's like he said it's like a He says almost like it's like a beach ball. You're sitting in a pool and there's a beach ball in the pool, and that beach ball is gonna float around the pool, right? And you're saying like that beach ball is gonna come after you, and every once in a while you just gotta hit it away. And eventually, that fight's gotta come up. But you don't focus on it. You know it's there. You recognize it, but do what you can do right now to keep yourself.
Do you think when training for a fight, obviously it's a lot of mental and physical, but do you think a lot of like we were talking about before, having the media on you all the time, do you think that's a distraction? Do you?
Yeah, it can be.
You can't do you if it was a perfect world, if we were living in Conor Matthews' world, I feel like you would be in your gym.
Yeah.
Away from society, just like me.
Yeah.
I don't like people that much. And just train, just nonstop training.
Yeah.
How important is it to kind of use social media as a tool to get your name out there, but also at the same time not have it to be a distraction?
You're right. It's a hard. I mean, for sure, it's definitely a balancing act, right? There's some people who are not even fighters, and they make successful businesses and lives. In careers off of being a martial artist by making videos of, you know what I mean? Like whatever, technique videos and content videos or breaking down fights or whatever. So there's always a part of being a martial artist and getting your name out there is using that as a tool to because that's another thing for me, being a UFC fighter is they don't care. You could be the best fighter in the world, but nobody cares about watching you. UFC is not going to keep you on that long. But even if you're not the best fighter in the world, but people love watching you, the UFC is going to keep you there. That's their whole thing is putting asses in seats. That's about it, right? So it is important for me to do that. But I can't also at the end of the day, what pays the bills for me is winning my fights.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If I keep losing, it doesn't matter how good you are. So it's like, it's definitely a balancing act. I have had points in my career, like I said, my first UFC fight, I had 6 different film crews follow me around, which I think was necessary of where I was at, because, you know what I mean, I need to put my name out there, so I need to show people who I am.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I could have been a little bit more focused and locked in for my first fight, you know. So it's definitely a balancing act. But I don't mind doing the media stuff too much. I think I make good connections. I don't mind talking. So, you know,
you're a good talker, man. You're fucking rolling off the tongue right now. But I see it a lot. Like, you see it a lot in these press conferences, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like obviously Conor McGregor, Kobe Covington.
He's the best at talking shit.
Talking shit, 100%. But these guys, they do it because they just trying to put seats and asses in seats.
Yes.
They're just trying to sell the fight. So is that like a big portion of like the UFC where nobody really thinks about it that much?
Yeah, because there's a lot of guys like Kobe Covington was on like a downslide. Nobody even knew who he was for a while. And all of a sudden he just put on a Trump hat and started saying all this stuff.
I remember that.
Knows who he is.
I remember that fight exactly. It was in Brazil. I forgot who he fought, but he called everybody out.
Yeah.
After that, his stock just rised up to the top.
Yeah, he like went to Brazil and called them like a bunch of filthy animals.
Yeah.
Like in Brazil.
Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Like, and Chael Sonnen crushed it. He talked his way into title fights.
Yeah.
Man. That's
mad easy.
Yeah.
It's definitely Sean Strickland did it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all these fighters. Yeah, I think it's a big portion of being a fighter. You know what I mean? It's season, but it's like, but also I think you got to be authentic to you. There's a way to do it where it's like, like not believable. Like, this guy sounds like that was kind of cringy, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what like that. I see what he's trying to do, but then, like, you know, I think, but there is a way just to authentically be you and make yourself put a name out there. But like, it's a lot easier to talk shit after knocking somebody out.
Yeah, seriously. much easier. I've seen those too. Like, people trying to like act like those guys. Like, oh man, who was it? It was when Conor McGregor faced Eddie Alvarez. I forgot the guy's motherfucking name.
I feel like Ian Gary did that a little bit too.
Yeah, Ian Gary. I feel like
the Conor McGregor
thing.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, he literally quoted Conor McGregor saying an Irish.
You think it's an Irish thing though? You know what I mean?
Maybe it could be. I don't know. I like. What's his name? Blonde hair, the bowl cut.
Patty
the Batty.
Oh man,
I think he's funny though.
Patty's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is he in your weight division? You fight at
55. I'm 45.
45.
But I have met him in the locker room at the UFC. With the UFC PI, which is Performance Institute in Vegas. I try to get out there every once in a while when I can, because it's just fun. I get good training, but it's cool because you get to cross paths with all these different fighters. And I met Patty the Batty in the locker room.
Did you see Patty the Batty, like the fighter, or the chipmunk Patty the Batty?
He was fighting Tony Ferguson.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was skinny Patty the Batty. For that
with the
one.
braids, right?
Yeah,
with the braids.
With the braids.
Rare.
But it's funny because a lot of these, I see Bryce Mitchell. I've met talk to these guys when you're chilling in a hot tub with these guys. You know what I mean? And so but a lot of them are authentic. You know what I mean? They are who what they are on TV. So it's not, and that's pretty funny. Like, I used to kind of hate them, but when you meet them and they're like that, you're like, oh, that's just.
Yeah, you're a good guy. You're a good guy.
That's who you are.
Who was like that fighter that you met, like, you know, and you were like, holy shit, like I'm here, like I'm in the UFC.
Yeah.
What was that moment?
Probably, I mean, meeting after my first Contender Series fight was pretty cool. I met, like, I got out of the ring and I met, like, Uriah Faber was there.
Oh, wow, legend, bro,
was, like,
legend.
I used to, like, that's what I used to watch, like,
California
WEC.
Kid.
Yeah.
California Kid, you know what I mean? So that was, like, pretty cool to see him watching me, get to dap him up. But, like, my first experience of fighting with, like, professional UFC fighters, I was in the military. I was stationed in Washington. I had a couple amateur fights, and then I moved back to New England. And when I moved back to New England, every Saturday I used to train at Lozon MMA. Shout out to Lozon.
Big shout out to Lozon.
And then so we were sparring there one day, and then it was Calvin Cater, who ended up being my teammate. But they're like, hey, Connor, can you give Calvin some rounds? And I'm like, and I just came back to fighting. And I was like, I wasn't even like a pro. I was like, yeah. I was like, shit. I'm like standing in the cage across from Calvin Cater. I was just like watching on TV. Fight like a couple weeks before that. I was like, that's when my first time being like, oh shit,
like
this is real.
This is real.
Yeah.
I ended up getting dropped, but
don't worry, Calvin. We love you, buddy. We love you, buddy. You made him a better man.
We ended up being. What's cool is Calvin's fighting on the same card with me, and
the UFC fight night thing.
For
Awesome.
February 15th. So that's pretty cool. And but I think I've met a lot of cool guys like Bryce Mitchell. I hung out with him. Who else? I mean, Dominic Cruz.
Another legend.
Who was actually Rob Font, my other teammate, is fighting Dominic Cruz, which that should be a pretty good fight.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So
hell yeah, man!
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm very excited. Oh man, because I'm not gonna lie. Connor. I'm pretty. So I've watched a few of your fights. I never thought in a million years I would sit in your basement across from you. And dude, you're like, I'm gonna say this like respectfully, for me and Alex, mostly for me. You're a dog, dude. You're a fucking dog. You know what? Not even like a DOG, like a DAWG. You're a dog, dude. I just want to say that real quick.
Appreciate that.
But so yeah, Dana White's Contender Series is a lot.
I had more skill. I wish I didn't have to rely on that dog. You know what I mean?
It's that dog mentality.
I'm trying not to go there. You know what I mean? I'm trying to finish these guys, but like, when you get to the UFC, you gotta be a dog, man.
You gotta be a dog. Them bonuses aren't gonna fucking go to the decisions.
Yeah.
But so my question, right? The Dana White Contender Series, that's a lot different than like a normal UFC fight, right? Because
it's the same thing.
Okay.
You got 3 5-minute rounds. I mean, the rule sets are the same.
But you're in the Performance Center, right?
You're at the
not
UFC Apex, which is across the street from the Performance Center.
Oh, okay.
And it's literally, I honestly kind of wish it was their UFC fights because the guys I fought. I fought Francis Marshall, who he won his fight. He ended up getting his contract to being in the UFC. So it's like that was like basically his first UFC fight. And then you have my second fight. I fought a 10-0 Brazilian from Fighting Nerds, which is like the biggest gym in the world right now. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like it's a UFC fight. You're fighting in the Apex. You get the same gloves on. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter. They just call it different names.
Yeah, it's just Contender Series because you're fighting for your contract, so they don't consider it a UFC fight. But
how was that like before? Like before the Dana White?
They used to mostly did Ultimate Fighter. And
that's right.
Guys off Ultimate Fighter. There wasn't as many people in the UFC. I don't think they signed as many people. And then. Yeah, that's it. It was Ultimate Fighter, and it was they would just every once in a while they would just sign a guy, off of whatever. So
like would they just go like scouting? Pretty much?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dana White's looking for a fight, which was the other show I was on. So that would sign some people. But yeah, that was it.
That was it.
So UFC's kind of weird. Like if you fight in Bellator, they don't really want to touch you anymore, depending on if you do good or not, whatever. But they
just went in, right? Bellator just
they're all done.
Yeah,
Bellator's all done. Now we got PFL, and they just created this new league this week called GFL, which is Global Fight League. Which I like it on theory. On paper, it's like they're trying to do fight teams. So like trying to get us like. Their idea is like to try to get paid like other athletes, so like they have like a fight team that's like a team, a manager, a coach, and a whole bunch of fighters that fight out of like New York, and a whole bunch of fighters fight out of LA. I think Dubai is one of them, Sao Paulo, and I forgot what the other one is. But yeah, which on paper it looks good, but like I don't know if it's gonna, you know what I mean? Fighting is still an individual sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a team thing?
It's like a team thing. So you're fighting for points for your team. So if you get a big win, your team will win.
Oh, okay. Because when you initially said team, I remember watching this video back in the day. It was like a Russian video.
Yeah.
It was like a 5v5, like full. I thought it was something like that. Where I'm like, that would never work out that well.
I watch those videos all the time. It's like Russian parkour fighting videos or Russian car seat fighting where they freaking like.
Oh, you have to unbuckle the seatbelt.
Yeah.
And then they have the ones where people fight like the phone booths too. Have you ever seen? Yeah.
They make about anything now. The whole slap thing too that Dana White has.
Yeah, that's Dana White's thing.
That's
right?
Dana White's thing, right? Have you ever thought about doing that?
No. I think that's disrespectful. Those guys. I mean. I like it's so funny because I have friends that like it and stuff, but like I just feel like it's like so like there's no skill. You're just giving yourself. Like I understand I'm a fighter and I get hit in the head, so people are like, "Yo, this is so stupid that you fight. You're giving yourself CTE." But I'm not trying. These guys are like going in there like knowing they're gonna get hit and knowing they're gonna get knocked out and just like letting people. I was like, it's just so bad. I don't know how.
Yeah,
I
watched the fights and I'm like, how can they just like allow this? You know what I mean?
So I was in the sauna one time, and there was a dude in there and a chick, and one of the chick is this girl, Little Monster. She's in the UFC. She was a stripper.
Oh, okay.
Before she was a UFC fighter. So she goes on to like this big long story about her. We're all like hanging out, and the other guy was a slap fight guy. He was cutting weight for a slap fight, and she's going on about how she was a stripper, blah 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 blah, and then the other guy was like sitting on the next to me, he's just like, yeah, oh yeah, I was a stripper too, and I'm just like, and I was like, that's the kind of people you have stuff. But he was like saying, he's like, yeah, I was out, I just got into town, I went out, got wasted last night, blah 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 blah, I was partying hard, and now I got to cut weight for tomorrow. I'm like, so you're drunk, you're cutting weight, and then you're gonna go get slapped in the head tomorrow. Like, what are you trying to do to yourself, dude? So.
All right, man, it's entertaining. I'm into that. I'm glad I don't have to be that motherfucker that has to get slapped
for $5,000 or not even, or whatever it is. It's like $2,000.
That's a big thing too. I feel like it's a strong subject nowadays. Like the UFC money, right?
Yeah, it sucks comparatively to other sports, right? Like it's like. You're going in there, you're putting everything on the line. You know what I mean? You're gonna get hit in the head, and it's like for like $10,000. Like your first contract, your first fight's 10 and 10, and then it's like it goes up by $2,000 every fight. I mean, I wish we got paid more, especially in today's days. It costs me more to like even do my fight camps than it is the way you're gonna get paid. You know what I mean?
Because you got to pay your coaches, you got to pay for food, transportation, all these things.
Getting out there, getting your team out there when we get out there. If you want to do everything right, it's like it's expensive. But I love it. It's like, so what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I wish we got compensated a little bit better than what we do comparatively to other sports. You know what I mean? But.
Because realistically, how many fights do fighters typically have in a year? Like three if you're lucky, right?
Four if you're pumping them out, right?
Yeah.
You're like.
That's like who's that guy that keeps on
Kevin Holland?
Yes.
Kevin Holland's just like I don't know how he does it because I mean.
That's a machine, right?
Yeah, he's a machine.
He's a machine.
He'll take a fight anybody short notice, and he'll get paid for it, which is good for you. You know what I mean? But like, you take a lot of losses, but he doesn't care about it. He's a crowd favorite. You could be that kind of fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take the fight last second, but no, it's. I wish we got paid.
Yeah.
I wish we got paid a little bit more, but. I only had one fight this year. I mean, I fought in March, and now I'm fighting in January.
Yeah.
So it's like only one fight. So. I mean, luckily I have other means to make money, and you know what I mean. But so I don't know how guys do it without doing that. You know what I mean? Especially
that's
if you're
wild,
working
dude.
a full-time job.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of these fighters have like a secondary means of income? Not like sponsorships or anything like that. Like an actual like a 40-hour work week job on top of this.
I think Marab. Was doing construction for 2 to 3 years before he decided of fighting in the UFC before he decided he's going to leave his job in the UFC.
So wait, he did
he was signed to the UFC and he fought for and he was still doing his construction job for like 2 to 3 years.
Damn.
Wow.
I mean, I think that's, to me, honestly, I think that's what you got to do, man. A lot of guys, unless you own a gym, unless you are, you know what I mean. Yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how the hell how can like if you're talking to like your younger self or younger fighters like about the business of this, because everyone has the passionate to go in there and fight to get to this level.
Yeah.
But how do they make a means of it?
You gotta be like, dude, it's mom's basement, because literally I couldn't have rent. I had a space. I was renting from a CrossFit gym, and then after they end up closing down, so I was like, hey, we moved the gym down to my parents' basement for it was supposed to be for a short period of time. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I ended up getting signed to the UFC, but like I would not be able to afford this rent for a space this big in like a regular spot.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just lucky that I have this opportunity. You know what I mean? A lot of people's, it's hard. Like I don't. It's really hard to be making, especially for the local shows. You're making $2,000 to $3,000 a fight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's it. And you mean. That's not much, man. That's a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's wild.
Right. So do you train in addition to like what you do in the UFC? Like what other sort of, if you're willing to go there
for strength for my job or
for like income purposes.
I used to running kids classes. I was doing all that for a while, for a couple of years actually. When I was when I first moved home from the military, I was working at Lausanne's. I was working there, and then. Then I opened up this spot. I was teaching kids classes, doing privates. But
you train people out of here.
Out of here.
Out of here.
Not anymore though. Right now, I got my Air Force job where I work for the Air Force. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to do that anymore. So I kind of focus on training. But that's what I was doing for a long. That's what a lot of fighters do. They do like privates on the side, and then they'll
That's kind of smart.
But now, like my Air Force job is to be a personal trainer.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
So as part of my job is to administer the PT test and test the candidates that are coming in, are going to be potential special operations candidates.
Yep.
And the other part of my job is to like write programs for them, or help them out, put them through workouts, bring them to the pool, teach them water confidence training,
Yep.
teach them how to swim, all that kind of stuff.
So how do you know when they first like walk in? How do you know like if they're going to be a good fit?
We administer the test and then really see, but you could tell.
Like not even before the
yeah.
test, like just looking at them.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean?
Like I said, it's like a lot of them. You know, they're not gonna make it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
it's not my job. It's not my job. It's my job is to prepare them as much as possible to get them ready. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's a mentality. So sometimes you have people who don't look the strongest and the weakest, but they just have that mentality of never quitting and they keep going, and they're the ones who end up making it. But then on the other hand, you have guys who come in to look like absolute studs, but they stub their toe and all of a sudden they're quitting on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you never know what you're gonna. You never know. It's like it's a mentality, and a lot of times I feel like older people have a little bit more life experience, and a little bit more grit, and they have a better chance of making it than the younger kids who are just coming in. So you know. You never know, though.
That's a big thing nowadays. Is like the younger generation is a little bit more soft,
Soft,
right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I've seen it personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's they just came. We grew up playing in the woods and just building forts and just like riding your bike and not being. You didn't have phones. You know. What I mean?
No technology.
You want to
right?
hang out with your friend. He's got on your bike. You rode to his house. So he would knock on the door, see if he's there. And I feel like this generation is like they could just hang out with their friends on the
phone
on Call of Duty. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean?
It's wild, dude.
Yeah.
It's like technology is so advanced now.
Yeah.
You can have AI friends. You know what I mean? You can have an
dangerous
AI
place.
girlfriend, bro.
That's dangerous right there.
It is.
That's dangerous.
It is.
Oh my god!
It's
Next thing
scary.
you know, you're gonna have like AI robots that train UFC fighters.
And then
I
there's
don't
the
think
whole
we're too
like
far from that.
the algorithm thing that just like if you like that, they're just gonna keep on throwing
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
They
shit,
just get
too.
kids addicted before they even know
Dopamine,
they're
dopamine,
addicted to
dopamine,
anything.
dopamine.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's gonna be a big problem.
What do you think about AI robots being training buddies? You know what I mean? Like, what if they program that?
Man, I don't know.
That'd be insane, wouldn't it?
I don't even need training partners. It's trained down here by myself. I hope not. Yeah,
It's weird, right? It's a weird
Yeah.
subject, isn't it?
It is weird, yeah.
Pretty
so.
soon, it's going to be the sphere.
Or
It's
people are
just-
gonna stop fighting and just fighting through AI. That's like that. I feel like that's the more realistic thing. Like in like the UFC is the better. Like somehow to like it'd be video game fighting, but it's gonna look like it's real fighting just through like AI. I don't even know, but that's what I feel like. It's
I saw a movie. Oh, what was that movie?
the robot
called?
movie?
Yes, with Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
I remember that one, yeah.
That, I feel like that could be a thing.
Yeah,
you know what I
me
mean?
too.
But oh man, hey, you've met Dana, right?
Yeah, like 3 times.
Okay,
Yeah.
how's Dana? How's Dana? You know,
I like him. Yeah.
I love Dana because he's a Boston guy.
Yeah, he's a Boston-
he's a
That's
Boston guy.
he's a big Boston guy. So
100%. There's that. I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's like he's a Boston guy. I respect everything that he's done and he's created
Smart
to get. You know what I mean? He's doing big things right now.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. You know what I mean? Wish he paid his fighters a little bit better. But
don't worry, Dana.
but he's giving me opportunities. So
Yeah,
that's all
dude,
I
that's
gotta
what
say.
it's all about, right?
Yeah, I have the opportunity to do this, and I can, hopefully after this, whatever happens in my fighting career, I can create something after that. You know what I mean? With my special operations background, and and what I'm doing is, set myself up for.
What do
success
you?
in the future.
So after when you're like officially retired from like fighting in the ring, what do you see like Conor Matthews doing afterwards, after the UFC or after fighting?
I see myself doing a couple things. I think I want to own my own gym, like a full-on gym that's not in my mom's basement. But,
I mean, there's no.
Although this is pretty sweet.
I
dude.
do
This
like-
is-
sweet.
I always said that I'm not getting rid of this one.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
dude,
keeping
never.
this here, all right, but it's
Never.
gonna stay here. But I'm gonna get another gym.
I feel like you got to establish these all over the country, just like in people's basements.
Yeah, hey, just have it
That's a franchise right
cold.
there, dude.
It's just
That's a
cold.
good idea. Just come in here and make your basement into a gym.
That's
I
it.
can bring a team in there. And,
Business partners. Yeah. Well, I got you. We'll talk afterwards.
I like that. That's a good idea. I think that's going to be one of the things I want to do. One thing I've been thinking about doing is creating a combative system to work with police and special operations guys, and kind of like working with the military in general, and just doing combatives and. You know what I mean? Taking the things I learned from martial arts and applying that. I mean, we do that a little bit, but I feel like they're lacking a lot of things that I see that we can make it better. Like Tim Kennedy's kind of doing that right now, but I can see that. And then I think that's the two main things that I can see me doing the gym. I'm going to continue to do my Air Force. I love my Air Force job because I'm still connected to the Air Force. It's still kind of part of that. I like that part of the job. I liked the training more than I actually liked the doing the job. I think you know what I mean. I think it was because with the training, it was like you had to wake up every single day with a goal and mindset of like you got to make it, and I like that. You know what I mean? It reminds me of being in fight camp. But like I have a goal, and so like it's kind of cool to help me out with younger kids who haven't made it yet. How do I help them get ready for that? I think that's rewarding to me. So I like that part of the job.
Especially because your mindset's so strong. That's such a big component of that. And it's like
100%.
someone might be a stud to your point, but they need that. Sometimes that little push along the way can kind of get them there.
Exactly, and that's what I think that's what I want to do. Maybe that might be what I do is going around and teach mindset stuff to people. You know what I mean? Help out with that portion of everything. I think that's where I've excelled, and I feel like that's what I got to give back to other people.
Hell yeah. I love that. I had another question, but it's gone now.
It's that pink hat that you
I
wear.
know, dude. It's out the head.
What is that? Is that a racing hat?
No, it's Raising Cane's, bro.
When I was down in Nashville, I kind of scooped it up.
No, it's a chicken.
Like a
it's
KFC.
a chicken place.
Yeah, that's
It's like Chick-fil-A, but all they sell is
I've seen
this.
it before,
All they
for
sell
sure.
is tenders. That's it. They don't sell
Tenders?
nothing
All
else.
Really good tenders,
I'm
though. So
hungry
let's not
right now. I'm
disrespect.
cutting weight right now, so you say tenders. I'm like,
dude.
anything to do with food
So,
right now. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Weight cuts.
Weight cuts,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because we talked to our boys Sean and Mike over at Red Seal, and they kind of gave us a little bit of a breakdown. But I guess your breakdown might
UFC
be
is another level,
right.
It's crazy, man. I don't even know how these guys do it. Like, I'm a 40,
I've seen
I fight
videos.
at 45,
Yeah.
and I'm like a smaller 45. I feel like maybe I'm a little thicker, but like height wise, like the kid I'm fighting is 5'11". I fought a kid 2 fights ago, 6'2". I mean, these guys are freaking big dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand how they make 145 pounds, but they do, and it just comes down to being disciplined with your diet, and it kind of sucks. I think that's the thing I hate about fighting the most is like, because like it just, when you're hungry, it zaps the fun out of training.
Yeah.
Like I love training every single day, but I got food in me. I'm like relaxed. I mean, I can do it all day long, but like once you start taking my food away, and it's like, oh man,
It gets very grumpy.
I definitely get grumpy. But that's the hard part of the thing. I wish it was. That's one thing I wish they would change is like people would be like, let's just fight at the weights we're at right now. The reason why they do it, they can't do it because people would cut weight no matter what. So if like, hey, let's fight at our weight, there would still be people like lying and still. Okay, I mean, you could do a hydration tests. They do it in one FC out in like whatever is Asia and stuff, but. I don't know. We don't do that here. So, but I fight at 45. I walk around generally at 165, 166. So, yeah, it sucks getting down there.
Have you ever thought about like, are you strictly a 145er?
I couldn't go. I mean, the guys that go on 55.
That's a pretty sack list.
Yeah, dude, those guys are big.
Yeah.
They're big.
They are big. I've never met any of them, but I'm pretty sure they're big.
Those
think I was-
35ers bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Really?
35ers taller than me, longer than me. Yeah, they're big.
Even like Sugar Sean, he's like 5'11". He's like
Yeah.
But no, he's not. Is he 5'11"?
he's tall. He's a tall
he's
dude.
Tall. I know he's tall.
He's
but
a tall dude.
He looks skinny, but he looks huge.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Compared to like.
I trained with Aljamain Sterling. He was the 135
Yeah.
champ. He was so strong, like crazy strong.
He
Way stronger
looked
than me.
strong.
Yeah, he's
He looked strong.
insanely strong.
How was it having Marab and Aljamain Sterling? Because I saw a post.
Oh yeah, I did. So those are guys I've
Mm-hmm.
met that are very famous, and I got to train with them.
So how was it training with them?
Awesome. So we went down because Longo's gym is down in New York, Long Island, New York. So
Yep.
that's not too far from here. So we took a team trip down there after I fought Dennis Pazuka, the kid I last fought. He's from that gym. So Aljo was there, Dennis was there, a couple other guys. Favola was there. It was really cool. I like those guys. I trained with Marab out in Vegas one time out there. And yeah, I like those guys. They're really nice, cool, good. I'm a big Marab fan. I think he's just the man. He was super nice. Like I met him, I got to train with him, and then he came up to me and talked to me. So he's just like respectful, just a nice guy. So I thought they were really cool dudes.
I love Marab
Yeah.
too. I'm starting to
He
become.
did good against Umar, too,
did,
man. I wasn't,
he did.
Yeah, he did do really good. Yeah, so that was awesome. That was a great fight. He's just a dog, man. That's like that dog mentality right there. Like I said, he's not even the most skilled guy in the world,
No,
but that's sometimes it doesn't matter. It's your mentality, the way you know what I mean. I think he's just a crazy person. Like
He looks crazy.
I posted a video the other day of him doing like unhinged stuff, like climbing up stuff, like, jumping off like railings, and just like climbing from things. Like he's just a crazy person.
When him and Sugar Sean fought, there was always like jabs on social media,
Yeah.
where like Marab would be like doing like what is it, up downs in the rain and like shadow boxing in the rain. And you just see Sugar Sean just in the back. What the fuck's this guy doing? But I think that's just who Marab is. I think where's he originally from? Is it
Georgia?
Georgia, right?
Yeah.
I feel like those motherfuckers are just insane.
Yeah.
Like they just train all day. It's like Dagestan. Like they just train all day in the
It's
mountains.
the same place Ilya Taporia is from
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Georgia, right?
Yeah, there's some
I
crazy
thought he was
guys
from
over there.
Turkey from some odd reason.
Yeah, they're all. It's like a war-torn country. All those things. Even the kid I just fought, he's American mostly, but he's Armenian. Like those all those countries that's like bordering Russia.
Yeah.
Crazy people. Dagestan, like those people they're different. Let's talk about our culture. Like kids coming up in our country and compared to kids coming up in that country. It's
Oh
like,
my god. Night and
I know,
day.
it's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I don't think like because you got kids out there wrestling bears in Dagestan. You got kids out here bitching and moaning and crying that TikTok just went down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
two different worlds, man.
right.
I think we just need to fight more bears. I think that's just the outcome.
That's the moral of this.
Yeah, we gotta get some
But
bears.
so I'll ask you this question too. But I'll ask you this question first. Your Mount Rushmore when it comes to fighters.
Oh, good one.
You can have time to think about this one too.
Pretty sure I did.
GSP.
Ooh, great start already.
Yeah, GSP is my number one. I'd have to say Anderson Silva because when he was for a while,
Like prime.
yeah,
Yeah,
prime
prime, he's
Anderson
wild.
Silva. There was nobody like him. He was knocking guys out
my
on his back.
I remember
foot.
his
It's
fight
like,
against. Yeah.
GSP Anderson. You gotta say John Jones.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Where's Dana White? Dana White's about to come. John Jones is the best pound for pound fighter in the UFC history.
yeah. And then, last but not least, like.
There's got to be a wild card in there.
Yeah,
Do you have
no.
honorable mentions if you have a fifth one or something?
See, I would have said like Max Holloway because I love Max Holloway,
jeez,
but,
great
like,
guy.
after, but he's like he lost to Ilya Taporia, and I took a little out of his his legacy. I feel like after that one.
Especially the way he lost that one too, man. That was that was so hard to watch.
I called the right round and finish for the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I got so mad.
I would say just for the sport, who's changed the sport is Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You can't, you know what I mean? So that would be my four.
Yeah,
Conor
four.
McGregor, yeah, for sure.
Conor McGregor changed the sport because of just the way
Just
he was,
the
right?
way he was, and when in his prime, on his way up, man, dude, he was calling the fight in the round. What round he was gonna knock
Mystic
people
Mac,
out.
bro.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
There was nobody doing anything like that. And I loved Conor McGregor on his way up, and he
Yeah.
was badass. So when he tweeted out at me my last fight, which was really cool.
Oh, really?
He was
Hell
like
yeah.
talking shit.
You got a screenshot.
Yeah.
You got a screenshot?
Oh, yeah,
There it is?
Throw it up.
I got a screenshot. I'll send it to you guys later. But he was saying stuff. He's like, this Connor Matthews guy was special forces, and he's sometime affiliated with the cartel, which is my fight team. He's like, sounds like a movie in the making. He's like, he's saying all this stuff. But and then he starts saying, oh yeah, we're gonna rename him to Matthews Connor so we don't get anybody get this confused. He's like, Connor Matthews working for everything I've ever worked for. He's talking shit.
Oh, God.
He was on like a rant. He did like. four
Is he
tweets.
like those Twitter, coked up Conor McGregor rants? I love those Twitter ones, man. I love them. All right, what about you? What's your Mount Rushmore?
Man, John Jones is he has to be
John
be
Jones.
up there,
I
dude.
feel like John Jones is on everybody's list.
Yeah. I feel like when I first started watching UFC, John Jones is one of the first guys I was kind of like really into, and just just a dog. You know what I mean?
Dog.
I feel like you have to have one of the Dagestani guys on there just because the way they've changed the sport. You know, like I know it's hard, but like honestly, when I first started watching
We're
Khabib,
talking overall martial artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, you're right though. You're right because Connor wouldn't be on there because his grappling wasn't that great.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you're right. I guess you could.
and it's annoying to watch. Like I remember
He was there.
I remember when
Khabib is
Khabib was
definitely
fighting Conor. I fucking didn't want Khabib to win at all.
Yeah,
I'm like,
me
this is
neither.
bullshit. You're just gonna wrestle him,
Yeah.
take him down, hold him down. This bullshit style, you know. But the evolution of that team, like what Islam is doing now, like dude, he stood up and kickboxed with Dustin Poirier.
Oh, they look great. Umar looked great too.
Umar looked
great.
And honestly, that front kick he has, that front left kick or left or right, I'm not sure, was that lead roundhouse kick was amazing. Like their striking is getting better. But however, I do feel like just because Marab won that last fight, I know Rob's not American, but I feel like the MMA in general, Marab trained in America.
Yeah.
He came from Longo's gym, so it's like we're figuring it out. I feel like it's like when jiu-jitsu first came to the UFC back in the day, people are like, these Gracies, what is this? We can't stop this. No, like, I don't know how to. And then that's what happened with these Dagestani wrestlers. They came into it and they're like, we're like, what the fuck is this wrestling? Wrestling. This is, but I feel like we're starting to figure it out. And you know, it's just, they changed the sport. So you know what I mean? Somebody who changed the sport could be. Change the sport.
It's kind of like Hoist Gracie when he first in the 90s, you know what I mean? Early 2000s, like the Gracie brothers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They changed the sport forever.
100%.
Then once they figured out how to like defend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, here comes the Dagestanians. Like Sambo and all that shit, you know what I mean? So,
and it's funny because wrestling is such like an old school art too. It's not like a new thing, but their style of doing it.
It's their style. There's our style of wrestling that you have for college wrestling style. It's just different, and then it's more like a Roman Greco style. Is what they use. That's like, you know what those, and just like their body locks and stuff like that. Just that's what's different about it. It's a different kind of style of wrestling.
And they say like the pressure that you feel like when they're on top of you, they just know where to put their body, so you just can't fucking move at all.
And they also just like they grew up doing that, so their body is like different than like imagine like their schools like in their kids is like that's what they go to school to wrestle all day. They don't go to school like we do
for academics.
They go to school to wrestle. Like that's a different kind of strength you're building at a young age.
100%, dude.
So, and probably some steroids because it's in running.
We don't know. Twitter's
I
gonna
don't know. Look at those guys. Look at those guys.
Twitter's gonna fact check us real quick.
I'm saying.
So you have John Jones, you gonna put Khabib in there?
Either Khabib, maybe Islam, honestly, over Khabib.
Ooh.
Just because I feel like he's more well-rounded. But it makes sense. The evolution, he's a later fighter. So he got all the lessons from Khabib, plus all that other stuff. I feel like GSP kind of has to be in there. Like, you can't not have him in there. And then I feel like I need to just throw like a fun person. Honestly, what Ilya's been doing lately, it's like, I don't know if he's there right now, but the way he finished Volk, the way he finished Max, if he goes up to 155 and he contends against someone like Islam, it's going to be kind of hard to deny him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going to be a super fight.
That will be a super fight.
It's going to be crazy.
Right? Yeah.
Because I think he beats a lot of people at 155.
Oh, 100%.
Like someone like...
He's just so well-rounded.
Yeah, like someone like Gaethje. Like, Gaethje can throw bombs, but I don't... Like, technically, with someone like Ilya, it's like, I don't know that he's really hangs.
Max can throw bombs, too.
Yeah.
But...
because Max finished Justin, right? So
that was a crazy
Max doesn't get knocked out.
Ever.
He's
never gets knocked out.
Head, dude. He don't get knocked out. He just keeps on going. I was actually at that fight, which was pretty awesome.
Oh, you saw it?
The Gaethje Max.
Oh, you saw that one.
God, dude.
UFC 300.
That wasn't even the main event, was it? That was co. Was that co?
Was that co?
Was that co-main
That was
event?
co-main because I didn't stay for the main. I just got out of there. I was tired or whatever.
Yeah, dude. After that fight, I wouldn't stay for the main event. No offense. But like that feeling of the crowd, because it was like Max was like last 10 seconds.
Yeah, he did the point down.
He did the point down, and then they were just trading bombs. 1 second left, and just
insane.
And also for Max to be winning that whole fight, like he was winning,
and then put it on the line.
The last 10 seconds.
That's why that was the BMF title. You know what I mean? Like that's a legit BMF title, dude. That was awesome. That was a great moment.
Dude, hell yeah! I'm
God, dude, if there's one event to go to, man, like the UFC 300,
it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I guess my Mount Rushmore can be added to this too.
Let's go.
John Jones, 100%. Conor McGregor, 100%. GSP.
Yeah.
GSP. Because I didn't really go.
Who's someone we didn't name that you feel like should kind of be in there or could be in there?
Because I grew up watching like old school, like late 2000s, so like 2006, 2007, where
Like
it was
Liddell?
Yeah. So like if I'm going off of that, like Brock Lesnar would be coming to mind. Brock Lesnar.
Cain Velasquez.
Cain Velasquez was another dog too, but Brock Lesnar would be on my Mount Rushmore, 100%.
Poor Cain Velasquez had too many injuries.
But
he was a savage.
He was.
When he was in his prime, I've heard he was the best. So
especially at that weight class, the cardio he had. Like we're talking about like Merab and his cardio present day, which might be the best of all time. But someone like Cain, dude, at that size, dude, fucking
but
crazy,
like Brock Lesnar, just like. Nobody at like 265, 270 should be moving that fast.
Yeah.
No.
That's a freight train.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember watching that. I remember watching. That's like one of the things that kind of got me into martial arts. Is seeing the way those guys used to train. Because that's when I used to watch like Embedded, like the
Brock
Lesnar. And I remember he used to drive this like little tiny crappy little red car, and he's like this giant,
yeah.
steroided out guy. Yeah, that's
Juiced
pretty cool.
out, though.
Yeah.
Then he went to WWE, and yeah, that's it. But
Wait, so how did you get into the UFC? Like, what was that?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So
did we cover that?
How I got there? So I fought. Obviously, I had 5. I came back from the military in 2019. So I had a fight. I think I made 2 or 3 fights. Pandemic hit, so that kind of slowed down everything. I didn't really fight too much that year. Had 1 fight during the pandemic in a parking lot with in a tent and stuff. So that was
wow,
that's sick.
So then I had 1 more fight after that. 5-0. Got my first Contender series shot. I lost that fight, so I went against Francis Marshall. Absolute war.
Did you apply to that, or how did you?
Yeah, I got a manager.
Okay.
So Tyson Chartier, he's my manager, and he got me. So I was having a lot of trouble actually when I was 5-0 finding people to fight in general because I had a lot of first round finishes, like a 7-second knockout, 50
Dog.
Yeah, I had
Dog.
all first round finishes for for the beginning part of my season, my career, and so nobody wanted to fight me. So that's why I ended up, the UFC was like, hey, we need to see him fight better people. They're like, we're not going to sign him. We couldn't find anybody. But finally, they let me go on to the Contender Series. I fought Francis Marshall. He was 5-0. I was 5-0. It was like a perfect, match. We had a freaking dog fight. It was like my fate was all busted up. And Dana White, actually, the first time I met Dana White, before the episode, I was on episode 2 of the Contender Series. They have 10 in the summer, and it was in episode 2. The first week, he's like, it was a really, really boring week. So before the fights, he's never done this before. He brought all the fighters in the back, and he's like, guys, I was like, you guys, we brought you guys out here to fight for a UFC contract. I don't know what was going on last week, but I want to see you guys go out there and try to win. Blah blah blah. So we all went back to our locker rooms. We went out, and every fight was like bangers.
Yeah.
And me and Francis had a fucking great fight. And I feel like so a lot of times, even if you lose, but you had a good fight, they'll sign.
They'll still sign you. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think because all the rest of the fights were so good, they didn't want to give out too many contracts, especially beginning of the year. So I didn't get the contract. So I was kind of pretty down after that because I was like, oh man, that was my one shot. You know what I mean? By the grace of God, the Dana White's looking for a fight came to Boston that March, the following year. Calvin Cater owns Combat Zone, who's one of my teammates.
Yep.
So obviously I got on that card. I was the main event for that. So, but they weren't even really looking at me, I don't think. They were looking at this kid Yuri, who was the polar bear. He's a local guy. They look at these other fighters, I think, more so than they were looking at me because they already saw me before. But I had a really good fight. Went out there, finished the guy in the first round, and Dana White, it was impressive. Basically said on the show, Dana White's looking for a fight. Like Connor Matthews stole the show, blah 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 blah. So I was hoping I was gonna get a contract here because I had a good fight in the Contender Series. I had a good fight on Dana White's looking for. I was like, yeah, give me the contract. They're like, nope, we're gonna invite you to come back to the Contender Series again. I was like, wow. So I fought on the Contender Series. So I trained for that. They matched me up against a 10-0, like I said, Brazilian kid from the Fighting Nerds. Killer.
Yep.
I was like, shit. I was like, this is not good. But I ended up going in there and just getting it done. I had the best fight of my life, man. This guy was a really good fighter, but I just I stood on him. I wrestled him down, brought him to deep waters, fought my fight. As my best performance by far. And
I remember watching that too.
Got the win and they gave me the contract, so that was pretty sweet.
Finally, Dana. Jesus, fucking good.
3 fights in front of Dana. I got the contract.
It's hard to please that man.
Yeah, it's hard to please that man.
No, but I remember watching that last fight too. I was like, because I was looking at the stats. I'm like, wow, this seems like very.
Oh, yeah. They didn't bring me in there to win.
No, they were like, all right, this motherfucker's going to earn his contract. And you suck it out, man. I'm not going to lie. I remember watching that fight, too.
Yeah, Jesus. It is what it is. But, for me, it made everything more worth it to me.
100%.
You know what I mean? It gives me more confidence to be able to fight now in the UFC. If I got an easy fight and I beat somebody easy, it wouldn't be now I'm going to go get some killers and be more nervous. Now, I know I can hang in there with those guys. So I'm a little more confident and, yeah.
Especially against, the best gym, one of the best gyms in the world, too.
100%. Yeah. I fought my first fight, I fought Bazooka, which is out of Longo's gym, which is one of the best gyms in the world. I fought that kid out of Fighting Nerds, and now I'm fighting a kid out of the lab. So it's like I'm competing against the best gyms in the world. So it's like, it's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
What gym are you fighting at currently? Are you?
I fight at the Cartel.
Cartel.
The Cartel, yeah. So Tyson Chartier, head coach. We have Tom Pags. He just fought last night. He's another local fighter coming up. He's gonna be really good. Calvin Cater, Rob Font, Chris Montino. He fights out of there. Carlos Ozoya. So we have some good guys.
Got some dogs in there.
Moutinho is the one who fought
Sean
O'Malley,
Sean
right?
O'Malley.
Yeah.
Late.
I got my black eye from right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been giving me work for my not this week, but the week before that. I got some rounds with him, and he's just a dog. Like,
Dog.
He's a real dog. He, the more you hit him, the harder he comes. You gotta either knock this kid out, or he's just gonna keep on coming at you. But that's what you want for, like, you don't want to do that all the time, because I have fucking Swiss cheese brain, but every once in a while, when you're getting prepped for a fight, it's good.
You need somebody like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I loved his fight against Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
Dude, he was an absolute. He gained my respect. I'm like, I love this kid. I want to see. I want to see more of him.
I always say that he's my favorite fighter. Chris Patino is my favorite fighter.
Yeah?
For sure. Yeah.
Chris Mateo is definitely gonna like come because he's
on the comeback. He's like 30. He's 31, I think. So
Yep.
he's not that young, but he's been on a tear ever since he got out of the UFC. He's been beating everybody.
Yeah,
He's
I've
had
heard.
a 5
Yeah,
fight tear.
yeah.
So he's like, I hope he gets another opportunity to get
he
back
will.
there.
I think he will. He will. If Dana White can open his eyes, he will.
Yeah.
Do you have any like dream matchups that you would want to get at? We're not doing call outs, by the way. No call outs here, guys. We keeping the peace here.
I don't really know. I really don't. I don't really have
that's
anybody that I particularly want to.
Or like maybe pass
for
like
the fight. Pass.
nothing.
Yeah, not really. I don't really have anything.
That's all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there anyone you think that would match up like interesting, like stylistically, with how you fight? Because I know they say that like styles make matchups. Sometimes
I think Bryce Mitchell would be a good fight. For
yeah.
me.
Oh, that'd be sick,
You know
dude.
what I mean?
That'd be sick.
But I like Bryce Mitchell. So
Yeah.
it's not like a personal thing at all.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you like your teammates that you spar hard with. You like Moutinho, and you guys beat the fuck out of each other.
That'd be a good fight. I feel like you know what I mean. Like,
Mitchell would
I
be
want
a
to
good
fight Bryce. As I always say this, I want to fight Bryce for the camel shorts.
Oh, dude, his
Hell
shorts
yeah,
are
dude.
legendary.
He gets to wear the camel shorts, and I'm like, I think I deserve the camel shorts. So I think I gotta fight him for the camel shorts.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Bryce Mitchell, but that's how I feel.
How do you get those? Like, because I know that Max has the Hawaiian floral.
I think if you're like main event, you gotta be.
Oh,
Like,
you gotta. But they gave Bryce Mitchell like the camos.
Camo, yeah.
There's like a few other ones too that have different ones. So, but you have to be like main event.
Yeah, you gotta be main event status. So that was UFC 300. So those guys probably got it. So yeah.
I don't know what I would wear. Fucking.
I got
big-ass
the.
Portuguese.
Yeah, some Portuguese flags on yours.
Yeah, Portuguese.
Shitties. You want some
Shitties.
shitties on your shirt?
That's hilarious.
Yo, quick plug, real quick. Connor, you got some merch right here. I'm loving these hats, by the way, dude.
Yeah, the dad hats.
I fuck with these. I fuck with these hats. So it's. Let me see if I get this right.
I have that one right there. It's
Oh
yours.
wow! Can you sign it for me?
I can sign it.
So it's a Connor Matthews martial arts.
So Controller MMA is my website.
Jesus.
ControllerMMA.com, and I got shirts, hoodies. We're running low, I think, on hoodies right now. Which I'm not gonna be honest. I'm probably not gonna re-up until after my fight because I'm too focused on.
Yeah,
all
I
that
know,
shit.
absolutely.
Yeah, right.
But I do have a website. If you guys want to get on there, we got t-shirts as well, 3 different colors: red, tan, and I think green green hoodies as well. So I got some stuff on there. Also, I have a actually no, that's I was gonna say I got another shirt, but it's sold out already. So,
Aw.
but yeah, that's it right now. We'll work on the merch after the fight.
That's fine.
We sold
Yeah.
all the stuff before the fight. So, yeah,
Hell yeah, dude! I'm gonna charge this hat forever. We're on the podcast now.
there you go.
Oh man.
It's your new hat.
Any last minute plugs you want to give out? Any shout outs?
Shout outs to my team earlier, like New Cartel, all the guys I've already kind of talked about. My striking coach, Pete Luciani, freestyle striking. He's the kid that comes down here, been working with me for a couple of years. He's helped my striking out. I started working with him after my first Contender Series fight, and since then, my striking has gotten so much better. So he's been a huge help for my career. All my guys, Joe Poirier, Andrew Valdina, and Operation Vet Now, which is a nonprofit that helps veterans who want to pursue sporting post-military career. Can I help them with PTSD? Doesn't matter what kind of sports, dirt biking, surfing, skateboarding, all sorts of kind of sports, fighting, jiu-jitsu. They help out people with that. Non-Standard is another company I've been partnering up with. They've been sponsoring me, kind of helping me out. Mariah, she's been running my website for me and selling all my merch for me. So shout out to Mariah and Adam from Non-Standard. Non-Standard, our goal is to help veterans who are struggling with PTSD, giving them non-standard methods of treatment, such as ice baths or getting memberships or scholarships to jiu-jitsu gyms. So guys, go on there and check it out. You can donate or try to get an ice bath if you're a veteran and you need some stuff. So
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Dude, this was awesome. Connor Matthews late. Connor, the controller. Matthews.
pretty good, not gonna lie.
Yo, dude, hey, Bruce Buffer, when you retire, give me a call, okay? Guys, it's been the Too Legit Podcast. Signing off from your mom's basement. Later, guys.